Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the 2012 APWA Congress, and welcome to the Expo Experience. We're so glad to have you here, and we are going to start off 2012 APWA Congress with a conversation with Vicki Quiram, and we're going to talk about the APWA Center for Sustainability Initiatives, as well as the Envision Sustainable Infrastructure Rating System. And we're so pleased to have all of you here, and of course, Vicki, we are so excited to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, Vicki is the Assistant Commissioner for the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services. You're also a member of the APWA Center for Sustainability, hence why you're here to chat with us about it. And you're a board member of the Institute for Sustainable Infrastructure. So it only makes sense to me to start with the very obvious question: what does it mean to be sustainable in public works?
The public works profession really gives us a perfect opportunity for sustainability and for considering sustainability in everything that we do. When we talk about sustainability, we're talking about thinking differently, thinking long term about everything that we do and the impacts of what we do. And in public works, everything that we design, everything we build, all the decisions we make really are intended to last for sometimes 50, 100 years. When we drive on streets and we build bridges and dams, they last for a long, long time. So when we do the things we do in public works, we have to constantly be asking ourselves, what are the consequences of what we're doing? How does it affect the community that we live in? How will it affect the future community we live in? How does it affect the economics of our times? How much money is this going to cost short term and long term? And then, of course, how is it going to affect the environment, which is extremely important for us to protect in this day and age.
Well, right, because whenever we do a public works project, we're not looking at a short term, we're not looking at a temporary fixture or structure. We're talking about something that's lasting well into the future and, you know, keeping the environment in a very positive form well into the future as well. So how do the two fit together? How do public works projects and sustainability fit together?
I think the way they fit together, certainly, and I think we've been, in public works, we've been working with sustainability for a long, long time. There's a lot of the things that we do where we have to consider the consequences. And again, it's not just the environment, it is how can we do this soundly economically? How do we affect our communities? How does it affect the economy of our communities? And how does it affect not the environment and thus people's public health? And there's just so many situations where the things that we do affect all those different things. Everything we do, we have to consider those different factors.
Because everything we do affects a lot of different things. And I know we have a lot of wonderful people in the audience here who I'm sure have stories to share or who have questions to ask. So we do have microphones. At any time you want to know any information or you have a story that you would like to share, just go ahead and raise your hand and we will get you a mic so that you can go ahead and participate. And I don't know if you guys know that we're on Twitter, hashtag APWA Expo. At any time you want to join the conversation or ask a question that way, if you don't necessarily want to raise your hand and get on the mic, feel free to go into Twitter and tweet us a question or a story at hashtag APWA Expo. So if we don't have any questions from the crowd, of course I've got some. Talk to us, you know, you're part of the APWA Center for Sustainability. What is that?
The Center for Sustainability is an APWA organization that's really set up to help our members in APWA include sustainability in everything that they do. We have been very busy this year putting together resources that people can use where they can learn how do we really integrate this into our projects. We work with our technical committees, and our technical committees, for example, the Transportation Committee has an sustainability subcommittee so that they can talk about what does it mean to be sustainable and to build sustainable transportation projects. That's just one example of the committees we work with. We have an emerging young leaders group in APWA. We've been working very closely with our emerging young leaders who have really come in and helped us see things from a different perspective, helped us put together some tools and some toolkits that all APWA members that can use in their cities and towns as they try to integrate sustainability into their cities and towns. And we've put together, we have a new video that we're sending out to all the chapters. It's a DVD that will go out to all the chapters. And that really, we went all the way across the country from California to the East Coast and in between, to give examples of how both small towns and large cities are integrating sustainability into what they do. There's some fabulous examples that show people recycling. There's some little bitty towns doing wonderful little things, and there's some big places like the city of Santa Monica, California, that are doing fabulous big things. So it's a great video, and it really is to teach people what is sustainability in public works with real life examples. And in that package there's also a lot of other good information that certainly the emerging young leaders helped us put together. There's a resource list so that you can not only, it's not just APWA resources we can lead you to, but certainly there's so many good sustainability resources from other organizations that we try to partner with. So those are just some of the things that the center has been doing this year and putting together this year for our membership.
So lots of tools, lots of resources. Has anyone here used any of these tools and resources? We'd love to hear your story, how it helped. Would you like to share it? We'll have a microphone here for you. Have you used any of the resources and the tools?
I have.
Which
yes.
ones did you use?
I've used several of the tools, and they're all very useful. I've used the resources list. It has a lot of great information on there, and certainly other tools that public works professionals can use, as well as the Envision tool, which is important. And I've used we put together a pilot project that we've used, and that's a great example of the ISI checklist, and we've run the project through that, so I've used that. It's just rolling out now. It's an exciting thing.
Very good. All right, and so we have emerging leaders that are using tools and contributing to making these tools. We've got other professionals that have been in the industry much longer who obviously can also benefit from these tools because, all of these specifications and, things are changing so rapidly, right?
They are changing rapidly, and these are some very practical tools that are being put together. They're how do you include language in your RFPs and RFQs so that you actually hire people that really do include sustainability. And the Envision rating tool, which Morgan, one of our emerging young leaders, just spoke of, is a fabulous, fabulous way for public works people as well as consultants, anybody building projects. It takes you through a process by which you can make sure that you've covered all your bases, you've included your community, you've brought the stakeholders in, and you can go through the checklist and make sure that you are building a sustainable project. That particular rating system then puts you in a situation where you can actually score your project, analyze the sustainability of your project, and receive awards.
Now, this is the Envision Sustainable Infrastructure Rating System. How did this get started, this rating system?
The rating system started with a partnership of APWA, the American Society of Civil Engineers, and the American Society of Consulting Engineers. And all three of them were working on how do we define this thing of sustainable infrastructure projects. We have the LEED rating system that is for buildings, but we don't have anything similar for really looking at infrastructure projects. And so all three of those organizations came together. They formed the nonprofit Institute for Sustainable Infrastructure, and then that nonprofit has been able to put together this rating system, as well as APWA has really input into the Institute of Sustainable Infrastructure's rating system by putting together a checklist, a simple checklist that you can go through for your projects. So that's kind of how it all came together. It's a very extremely useful tool for anyone who's interested in really putting a box around what does the word sustainable mean and what does it mean for infrastructure projects specifically.
So has anyone used this rating tool? Did we know about this rating tool? We did? Oh, would you like to share your story? We'd love to hear about it. This is why we're here, to make sure that everybody knows about the Envision Sustainable Infrastructure Rating System. Hi there.
Hello, Vicki. My name's Harry Lorick. My question is, I haven't used the tool, but is there any kind of special training that's being provided for people to understand how to use the tool, and is there a certification for someone that they can use these tools?
Thank you, Harry. Yes, there is, and that's a very important thing. We have, the Institute for Sustainable Infrastructure has just started certifying people to use the tool. There is an online training course that you go through. It's about a 6-hour training course. It teaches you how to use the infrastructure system, and it also by taking that course and then taking a test on that course and having the background that it takes to apply, you can apply for certification or accreditation as an expert in that field, and then you can help walk people through the rating system for their project, which is an extremely helpful thing to do. If you're interested in finding out more about being a sustainability professional or using the ISI rating system, you can go to sustainableinfrastructure.org to get more information, to sign up for the training, and even to maybe if you have a good project that you'd like to get certified as an ISI project and receive an award, you can also do that through that website.
Well, what are some of the benefits of using the rating system?
The benefits of using the rating system are really a better project. It really, when you go through that rating system, you are actually taking your project through a system that when you get to the end, you have community involvement, stakeholder involvement, you've looked at all the different issues, you've considered both the present, what you're doing presently in your project and the future of your project, and I think at the end of the project you usually have a better project. You have a project that probably cost you less money in the long run. Nice. You've got a project that will last a long time. Perfect. And after you've worked through a stakeholder process like this, like the rating system takes you through, you are much more likely to have community support for that project, and it's much easier to get your environmental permits and to get through your permitting with your town and your city because you've really done it in an inclusive manner.
So lots and lots of benefits. What are some of the benefits of becoming certified?
The benefits of becoming certified are, first of all, you know more about sustainability and you know exactly how it applies to infrastructure. And second of all, you are really, you're very valuable to towns and cities and people who build projects because you are really going to be taking them through that process. So taking them through that process allows you to serve as their consultant, to serve as their mentor, and to really help them through the process.
Fantastic. Well, we're helping you through the process of learning more about both the Center for Sustainability as well as the Envision Sustainable Infrastructure Rating System. So does anyone else have any other questions for Vicki Quiram about the APWA Center for Sustainability Initiatives? We've got just a few more minutes. We'd love to make sure that we get all your questions answered. No? Vicki, tell us where we can find out more information about the Center for Sustainability. When we started the conversation, you mentioned all sorts of tools and resources. Where can we find all of that information?
Well, the Center for Sustainability you can find very easily on the APWA website, apwa.net, and go to the website. The center has a presence on the website, and all of our information goes up there as quickly as we can possibly get it up there. It's constantly, we're constantly developing new information and putting new information up there for our members, and so we'd love to have you visit there.
So lots and lots of information, lots of tools, lots of resources, and specifically the resource that we discussed was the Envision Sustainable Infrastructure Rating System, and where can we find out more information on that? Sustainableinfrastructure.org, Sustainable Infrastructure, one word, .org, and that's the website for ISI, and all the information is there, as well as the course and signing up for all the certifications and accreditations, so feel free to visit there. We'd love to see you there. We would absolutely love to see you at both of those website resources. And Vicki, we are so pleased to have you join us here again for the second year in a row at Continuing the Conversation. Vicki Quiram, thank you so very much for talking to us about the Center for Sustainability as well as the Envision Sustainable Infrastructure Rating System. Be sure to check out both of these websites to get more information. Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you.